Welcome and Aquaba, everybody. I'm Ashton Jaworski, the American Ivory Coast fan, and today I will be doing a little bit of a World Cup preview for Les Éléphants, as well as talking about the friendly that just occurred against France, the Blue. Give me a little preview of what's to come before the start of the World Cup. Les Éléphants, they have friendly against my Philadelphia Union. I will be going to that match. I'm excited. It's free for all fans, so if you do live in the area, I recommend you come out and show out in your colors. I have my flag behind me that I will be bringing along with me, and yeah. So let's get into it. For starters, I have 5 key points that I want to be talking about with the game. I'm gonna give my credit where it's due to Seko Fofana. He played an amazing game, in my opinion. I mean, the way he was able to put his foot on the ball, even when there was a lot of pressure, especially in the first half. You look at all the shots that Turkey had, Mbappe, the rest of the team, like they were just piling shot after shot. And so after every goal kick or every reset, just finding Seko, he would drop in, near Agbadu, near Singo, and just put his foot on the ball and just stop the play, make sure everyone breathes, So, him controlling the game really helped out the team. The passes that he did in between the lines were really good. I thought he was superb. And to me, this performance just shows that he needs to be starting every game this World Cup. Like, there were little talks between, different sides of the fan base about, oh, should it be Sangare? Is Seko, is he a little past it? Could the last AFCON have showcased, sit on the sidelines and be more of a mentor to some of the younger guys, such as, Christ, Olai? You saw in the AFCON in 2023 that, how key of a role he could play. I mean, he even scored in the first game. Seko's leadership on the field, he makes the team just better. Even when he's not even on the ball, he doesn't even have to be on the ball, and he just makes impacts. And it's just players like that we need in the team, during such a hectic time, with arguably the most amount of pressure that this generation has ever felt. Seems like this new generation, you're talking about Ahmad, Bonnie, Agbadu, like they haven't felt this kind of pressure before. So to me, having Seko on the team is a no-brainer, and I think I would have Seko, Kessie, and Christ, Ulai. Speaking of Christ, players like Ahmad and Nicola Pepe that, when they get on the ball, you just get on the edge of your seat. You think that something magical is about to happen when the ball's at their feet. And it's his movement as well as just his touches, like the basic touches where he receives the ball on like the half turn and he's just looking to go forward. And it's players like that in the midfield, when we have Kessie and Seko, that you need a little bit of energy, that energy going forward, because to counteract, more of the slow-paced build up, push the fullbacks forward, everyone just calm down. And Seko, when it gets to the end of the game and say, we need a goal against Ecuador, or we need to try to equalize against Germany, or try to find a winner, like just having Christ on the field is going to give that energy. He can run for days. And it's the 1-2s as well. Like watching him link up with Guela and Conan on the left and right wings, just going boom, 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 like as if the French attack wasn't there at all. It was a joy to watch, to be honest, and I'm so excited to see what he can do. He just brings joy to me. He is a joy to watch. Another player that I had fun watching yesterday was Wilfried Singo. Singo put in an incredible performance at center back. Looking at the lineup, I was thinking to myself, it is weird seeing Singo at center back, but because Evan Ndika, he's injured, he might not make it to the first 1 or 2 games of the group stage, which hopefully he will return in time for at least the Curacao game, because we will need him if we are to make a run for, round of 16 or the quarterfinals. We're going to need Evan Ndika, of course, but seeing Singo play center back, he just looked so comfortable. Yes, of course, we conceded a goal, which, it is what it is. It's the best national team in the world, besides the Ivory Coast, of course. in France. Like Ryan Cherky, I mean, it was a bit lucky, the defense opened up the legs for a split second. I think it was Conan that it megged, and it just went rifled in the bottom left corner. But so strong. Like, he showed Mbappe that there are levels to this game. He he may not be playing at, like, the highest level right now. Wilfred Singo, he's playing for Galatasaray, which, is they've had their ups and downs this season. And he's, I don't know, he just shocked me. He was like what Agbadu should be all the time. Like, because Singo is so used to driving up and down the field as a fullback or a wingback even, he brings, more attacking threat than you would think from a center back role. He's kind of like Harry Maguire, if you've seen the compilations that have been on the internet of Harry Maguire playing for England during like the 2020 Euros, where he, in like one half or even in like 20 minutes, he made like so many decisive passes, splitting through the midfield, just completely bypassing them to the forwards for England. That is essentially what I could see Singo doing. Center back, I think he can really make an impact for the team. Of course, you do feel bad for Ousmane Diamand and Orlan Kosunu, but he's doing a better job than they would. And I think you have to start Agbadu, so don't get started with, pushing, oh, maybe we should, substitute Agbadu out. Nah. And we don't need Singo in the right back position. Guela Due, c'est magnifique. I would genuinely think he would start in France's team. I don't know if that's a hot take, but I think Guela Due would start for loads of top European sides in the right back position. He is such a good right back that, like, I am shocked at the fact that he hasn't been like recruited by Chelsea yet. My fourth point for the game has to be the fact that we started Oumar Diakite. Now, the controversy surrounding Oumar Diakite, if you are unaware, with the fact that he is currently out of form with his club, and we picked him over Marshall Godo. Now, Oumar Diakite has an interesting profile to him. The way that he runs is unlike any other player in the squad. Like, the strength that he possesses is similar to that of Wilfred Singo, but he's a winger or, a forward of some sort, or depending on where they rotate him at. And so he went into this game, I was really hoping I would see some attacking threat from him, to prove the haters wrong. You're playing such a strong team. Just show me what you got. And what we got was a misplaced touch that led to his own offensive slide tackle. And outside of that, we got about 10 fouls from him. Now, I was fine with the fouls. I did like the heart that he showed. He showed a lot of strength and, resilience when they were grabbing back at him. He didn't lose his cool, but it was a bit uninspiring, and I knew that at halftime he had to be subbed off. There was no reason to really be starting him, and I'm hoping that performance got through Emerson Faye's head that, he shouldn't be touching the field this tournament. It's too soon for him. He's still a young player. He's got time to improve. We have 2030, we have 2027, 2028 AFCONs. There's a lot of time left for him to develop. We'll see what happens next club season, but just saying, 2026, unless a terrible injury crisis occurs with our wingers, which I hope not, I don't see any reason why you would need him to be coming in. Unless the only scenario is if we're winning like a 1-0 game and, he can help on defense, to be honest, because even when we were attacking, he was dropping so far back that he was like a right wing back almost. It's interesting to see, us play this almost ultra defensive style for the first half of the game. It worked pretty well, to be honest. We nullified them pretty well. But overall, just not really inspiring, especially if you're going to title him as a forward. I would much rather hopefully see a goal from Marshall Godo than just see a yellow card in the first 10 minutes from Omar Diakite. The less said, the better in regards to Omar Diakite. And finally, my last point for Les Éléphants for this match has to do one of the main attackers and main focal points, Nicolas Pepe. He's been on fire with his team in La Liga, Villarreal, where he keeps on doing this celebration where he goes boom, boom. And I love seeing it pretty much every single week because he's just on fire, getting goals and assists. Both of the goals, he played a perfect first time pass through to Guela Doué. Ibrahim Kanate, he slid to try to get the ball, but it was too perfectly weighted. Mainan had no chance at getting to it before Guela did as he slid home. And then, of course, he played Guela down the line, perfect through ball. So Guela could cross it into Ahmad, bouncing ball, perfectly finished with his right foot, bottom left corner, and that's all she wrote. Now, Nicolas Pepe, he missed out last AFCON, which, to be honest, I could say that the result against Egypt in the quarterfinals could have gone a lot differently if he was playing. Based on how he's looked, in the friendlies, not just the France friendly, but the fact that he scored the only goal against Scotland too. He's been on fire with the national team recently. He's becoming a real fan favorite. He could literally play anywhere, whether it's a 10, the left or right wing, striker, and he will do a job for us. Like, he's so technical on the ball that he just makes the life of all the other attackers going forward so much easier. Nicola would get the ball on the right side or more centrally in the midfield in like the 10 role. He'd play it to Ahmad. Ahmad would play it back to him. He'd play it back to Ahmad, and then we could switch the field again and just make France run all day. I saw that multiple times, and it was just a joy to see. Just a quick 1-2 touches, kind of like what Ulai does deeper in the field. But yeah, Nicolas Pepe, star performance. Outside of Guela Doué, I would say Nicolas Pepe, even though he didn't even play like more than half of the game. He came on at halftime. He played amazing, played his heart out, as well as Wilfried Singo at center back. Those would be my three key performers of the game. And also, Ahmad played great coming on, did his thing, scored a goal, comes up clutch every single time for Les Éléphants. AFCON, he was our best player of the tournament by far. He's looking to be a key part as well this time going forward. And now looking forward to the World Cup, La Coupe du Monde. The 2026 World Cup is going to be in my backyard in Philadelphia. We have 2 games in Philadelphia, 1 in Toronto. Toronto game is going to be very, very important against Germany. But first, obviously, the Ecuador game. Now, I think going forward into the Ecuador game, I did watch their highlights against Saudi Arabia, if I'm not mistaken. And it looked okay. I mean, they scored 1 decent goal. I think the other one was like a header. They're just a very good defensive team, and yet they still conceded a goal to Saudi Arabia, who aren't that good of an attacking team. I mean, all of their attackers are aging like cheese. So looking at Ecuador, you have Hincapié, you have Pacho, these 2 center backs that are supposed to be world class, and it just makes you feel like they're still so gettable, even with those 2. I mean, you have Caicedo in front of them, who I'm sure is going to have a big role to play. But then, like, is Estupiñán not that amazing of a defensive, unit to nullify Ahmad, Nicolas Pepe, and Yan Diamond? I don't see it that way. And so I still think that if we do play Singo at center back, I mean, even if we play Kosunu or Diamond at center back along with Agbadou, I think we'll be fine. I don't think we'll concede. At worst, we'll get a 0-0 draw. But I still think on the left side, because I believe, Estupiñán will be on the right side, or our right side, their left side. Then Ahmed can do his magic on the right side. So, and their goalie, meh. For Pacho's sake, yes, he's got a good build for a center back. He's very lengthy and tall. We also have to look at the rest of his back line. Is he not getting carried by having the best right back, arguably like the best right back in the world, easily, by Hakimi, having Marquinhos, the absolute legend, to his left at center back, and then also the left back in Nuno Mendes, who you could argue is the best left back in the world. So, like, I feel as though if you put in Emmanuel Agbadou in the PSG backline, it just wouldn't make much of a difference. So I'm not worried about the backline at all. That basically all I'm saying is that we will be able to score against Ecuador. So I predict a 1-0 win. Now moving on to Germany, as I said, I'm also not really inspired by them. Look, they have star players, obviously. You have Musiala, but he's coming back from injury. You have Wirtz, who's coming off a pretty, in my opinion, a very below standard season. But when it comes to Germany, I'm not hearing much hype around them. Obviously, you have all of the glaze for Lamine Yamal, for France, for Portugal even, and then obviously, the chirping of England. But when it comes to Germany, nobody's talking about them. Like, and I wouldn't even consider them a sleeping giant. I would consider them a sleeping statue. Like, they're not going to be moved. They're just sitting there, collecting dust. David Raum looking very suspect at the back. Jonathan Tah, once again, a Bundesliga center back, that I think will be a much easier task to beat than, the likes of Koundé and Upamecano in France, which they just beat. So, I think the confidence will be at an all-time high, especially if they can get a result against Ecuador, even if that is a tie. Because, look, we're going to most likely beat Curacao. So if we get a tie, that's almost a guarantee that we will, obviously nothing's guaranteed in football, but, it's almost a guarantee that we will make it to the knockout rounds with at least 4 points from the win against Curacao and the draw against Ecuador. That this game will almost feel like a celebration in a sense. It's gonna be a party atmosphere in Toronto. I would suspect it to be actually pretty evenly split. There is a large African population in Toronto, and of course, obviously you can just travel up north. And obviously Curacao, look, they have Tahith Chong, they have Room, who is their goalie. Outside of those two, Jurgen Locadia, who once played for FC Cincinnati. They don't have much depth. I'm going to keep it real. We should get 2, 3, 4 goals, hopefully, if our finishing boots are on that day. I'm going to be there. Should be great. Hopefully, if I don't see a goal against Ecuador, which is obviously a lot more likely to be, no goals for Ivory Coast than against Curacao, then I'm really hoping that I'll be able to see a World Cup goal for Les Éléphants against Curacao. And that's going to do it for today's video. I've been Ashton Jaworski. This was your preview for the World Cup for Les Éléphants, as well as going over the friendly that just took place between Les Éléphants and Les Bleus in Nantes. I will see you guys all in the next video. Hopefully I'll be able to bring you along for the matchday vlog for the game against the Union 2. It should be a lot of fun. I'm hoping to maybe even take pictures with some of the players if they're in a more chill mood, especially like with all the celebrations that went on post-match against France. It should be good. But in case you guys stuck all the way to the end, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. It's all free. It takes, 10 seconds, maybe even less if you can speed run through it. I will be posting hopefully more content throughout the World Cup. That's all I have for you today. Adios, bonne nuit, and I'll see you later. Peace out.